What's up? I'm heading home from the Gambler. I left early because I racked the back of my head pretty good and rung my bell. Stayed long enough so I could cook breakfast for everyone, some bacon and eggs. The hash browns they wanted to cook, I've never cooked before. The ones that they had, the ones that come in a box and you just add water. So I wasn't quite sure, yeah. So I let them finish it up because I was just dealing with a pretty good headache and a bit of nausea from that banging my head on the fucking tip out on my buddy's RV, picking something up. I think I've redone this vid now like 3 or 4 times because I'm trying not to say anything that's like to be mistaken as a negative or overbearing or anything like that. Or I don't know how to explain that part either. Since going to the house and then going to the Gambler thing, other than getting overwhelmed those first couple nights from a lack of sleep and basically too much excitement, man, I went from a low, somewhat of a low to a really high. It was weird as hell. That was when I posted the vid, but I ended up getting rid of it. Where it's like it felt like I was on drugs, and it was better, but it wasn't drugs. It was better than drugs. It was just weird. Like I couldn't stop laughing that night. And then finally hit smack bottom the next morning type thing. It was like that kind of roller coaster and all there the first few nights. My anxiety definitely did not help at all. But this entire experience has helped me make a decision on, my business and all that I'm not just planning, I'm going to start. What are you guys doing? But, man, I'm hurting. I was already hurting, up and down my spine last night, and then late last night, I don't know, while I was doing recordings and stuff like that, my neck really started to fucking hurt. I can actually feel it right here in my throat. And then smacking my head today, it's just like, you know what, I've had 2 hours of sleep, I'm nauseous, got a little bit of a spin going somewhat, and it's like, I'm not going to take the risk of passing out while driving. I'm just going to finish breakfast and get heading home. And probably gave myself a little concussion. I can't say a big one, but I definitely racked my brain really good. I mean, shit, after I did it, I had this song ringing my bell going off in my head, like, oh, man. But I've got to take more time through all this to just kind of realize there's a lot of there's a lot of shit, and then there's various people that I'm just going to be leaving in the past. I'm trying to remove all the toxic elements so that I can focus more on basically my attitude and my mental health. It comes off arrogant, and it's not what I'm intending to be. Yet the last 12 years, especially the last 4, almost 5, the level of fucking abuse I went through, even though it hurt really bad, especially there at the end, I expected it. And I was afraid it was just... I expected what was coming. Because I saw what was happening and what they were doing. And so yeah, it definitely hurt a lot, yet at the same time I just wasn't surprised by it, because it's like, what's new? That's all they've ever done to me. Instead of working on the relationship, they were working on having relations with other people. And it's like, how many years can you sit back and watch them do that? So it's like, I learned a really tough lesson. I learned what kind of person I want to be with. I learned what kind of relationship I want to be in. And I learned what kind of... I'm learning what kind of person I need to become to have a better relationship. I'm getting through the baggage and the bullshit. I don't hate anybody. I just hate what some people have done to me. You know, they run me through for so long, and while they're doing it, they're telling me they love me, and then on top of it, they're telling everybody else what kind of piece of shit I was. So it's like, why would I go back to that and risk that again? And why would I keep my house to take risk of being love bombed and basically have them worm their way back into the house just to do the shit all over again? Yes, I've been lonely. Yes, I would like, you know, a committed relationship for once. It's all I've ever wanted, really, is somebody to love me for me, not for what I have or don't have. Wanted to be a part of a family for once, not just the piece of shit that's there. Because that's how I've been made to feel by my current ex and even my ex-wife. Like, it's just worthless. So I just kind of, yeah, I just realized I'm doing everything I can to never allow that situation to come back around. I forgive them, but no buts. I forgive them. They just have to learn from their own stupidity, just like I've had to learn from my stupidity at times. Even when it might be a reaction to their abuse, I still answered for my shit because that's what I was supposed to do. That's what any given adult is supposed to do, whether you're in the right or wrong, and whether you're defending yourself or not. You know, when you're dealing with reactive abuse, the only answer really to that is you need to find the opportunity to leave, because that person is already demonizing you to everyone else every time they get a reaction out of you. They're already fucking making you the world's biggest piece of shit, and the more they get you to react, the less you're going to have in your life and the more you lose. And so people like that should not be worth your time or energy at all. And the moment you recognize that you're with the fucking narcissist, you fucking drop them right away. Trust me, it's hard. They fuck your head up really good to the point you have to question what reality was, what was real and what wasn't throughout that entire relationship. Whether that relationship was a few months, a few years, or several years, decades, they're gonna fuck your life up and fuck your head up really, really, really bad. Trust me, you don't have to trust me because you don't know me. Any of you might be watching this most likely don't know me. But you give somebody enough time like that, they'll find a way to shackle your heart, they'll shackle your emotions, and they'll make sure that you're stuck. And it makes it, the longer you're there, the harder and harder it is to leave. Because you end up having this, I don't even know if I can call it bad or good. Because through all the trauma, you're falling more and more and more in love with this person because you're relying on them for comfort when they're the people causing you the pain. And so it's one of those things of you don't have a choice. You've got to go. You got to leave. And so recognizing that this was a never-ending cycle and all that, And if they were to ever try to come back around, they will be met with a closed door, because I'm not risking that ever again. That person meant a shit ton to me, and I realized I meant nothing to them. And realistically, I'd rather save what's left of my life to give the rest of my entire life to someone else. Someone who actually wants to be a part of it, wants to be a family, wants to actually be committed to the relationship. It's okay to have friends. It's okay to have family. It's okay to visit. It's okay to hang out. All that shit. But the priority should be at home, on the relationship and the people that you have at home. Not on people who don't live there, people you don't intend to... Yeah. So I learned what I want in a relationship. I'm learning more and more how to spot what I do and don't want. Business-wise, over all this, over the last week, this going to the Gambler and cooking for the bands and stuff like that, all it did was solidify the fact that that's what I want to do. I want to open a food cart or a food truck or whatever and start cooking. Even though I have confidence in my cooking, I don't have confidence in business. I know I can run a business. I know I can. But God, my truck is sounding like shit. It's been suffering the last few years because all my money's been gone and somebody else has been able to keep their vehicles up. But it solidified what I want to do for a career and for business. It's just I would like to find somebody that is better at the clerical, I guess it's a clerical aspect of a business, and is patient enough to teach me in the process, so that they are, or even myself, are not dealing with the full brunt of the responsibility of running it. Because if I'm the owner, I need to know how to run it and do so confidently. I don't want to fuck anything up. That's why when I open this, I'm gonna actively be looking for somebody that, even now I've got someone in mind that I think would be good at. Basically, I can hire them to be my boss, and I would be comfortable with them in essence telling me what to do. And they're not mean about it or anything like that. They're really good at communicating with people. So that's why I've just been there's some others, like my buddy Nate, I threw the idea at, and he considered it. He's thinking about it, but I just don't see it happening. Kind of like, when I was living down in Klamath and all that, I gave up asking if he'd like to come down and chill, because I knew he wouldn't do it ever. He did it once, and that was it. Never came down again. It was always me going and making that effort to go hang out with my friend 300 miles away. And so I don't hate him for it. It's just I don't expect anything different, and so I just don't want to hold that over him. And if he watches this, I don't want him to think that that's what it is. It's not. He's been home taking care of his parents, and now taking care of his mom and brother, and he's just doing what he's got to do, for his family. He's not married. He doesn't have kids and all that, so he's taking care of the family he already has, and I don't blame him. I know that because I had originally, when I got the house up for sale and all, I got my offers, all that stuff. He was one of, I want to say, just a couple people that I had intentions to ask, and he was the first that I asked. But the response I got, I just don't see it really being more than, any further than that. So, we'll see what happens, in the process of all this, and how things go. But I mean, I'm excited about it. I might not seem excited at the moment, and not in a bad mood, because I'm not. I'm exhausted. My head's still ringing and hurting from smacking it this morning. That was a couple hours ago. It was right around 8:30 that I stood up, bam, right on the corner of the RV tip out. It was like right below my hat back here, and it feels like I got like a little bit of a dent in my head. But I'm just trying to plan, not just plan. I'm doing whatever it is that I can to make life better, and not necessarily just for myself. I have hopes. I just, those types of hopes, I just got to see where it goes, see what happens. I can't, when it comes to some things, you can't force things to happen. You just got to let God do his part, and hopefully from there, you see what happens. Till then, I've got to really sit down and focus on like my menu. I mean, I've got thoughts where this business is concerned that I don't really want to share here, because I don't want anybody. I'm going to leave it right there, because there are things that I'd like to talk about, but I'm just not going to here. I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. I'm not the brightest light bulb in the box and all that. Pretty, in my eyes, how I always feel. I call myself a retard almost all the time. Anymore, in a long run, I genuinely believe I'm a fucking retard. And I'm trying to break that mental process. Yes, I'm slow on some things. I struggle to recognize people's intentions until it's too late. Amongst other things. And my naivety, gullibility, and just being socially fucking retarded, it definitely made life a lot harder. And then on top of it, add in, the drugs that I did use back in, I want to say the last year of high school, basically, and then up to a year after that, and then I had cleaned up, and then it was a couple years later that I got back into it fairly bad. Actually, it was about 3 years to start, and then it was like maybe a few months on when I relapsed, and from there I just straight quit. Cold turkey. No, I won't say exactly how I quit to on here or anything, but depending on the person, I won't have a problem telling them how I quit. I just don't want anybody else to do what I did to quit. I think there's something wrong when you can't turn to your family for help, because all you can do is fear that all they're going to do is keep judging you and keep treating you like shit because of how they treat you anyways over your addiction. And when you ask help, it's pretty much go fuck yourself. People can't question why drug addicts, they get worse and worse and worse. And a lot of them, it's because they don't have any friends or family. They get abandoned. And the only friend and family they got at that point is that drug addiction. So when it comes down to it, when a person is going through that kind of situation, the fault isn't just on the person using, it's also on the friends and family surrounding that person. So if you know somebody who hit rock bottom and ended up like, dude, I don't know this person anymore, something happened to them. You know what happened? Because you and others abandoned that person instead of sticking by and helping them get through. No matter how hard it is. What you did is you became an enabler. And see, because I recognize this type of stuff, because I've watched it. Damn it. There, my turn signal kept kicking on. But I've watched too many people fall far from grace because of that type of shit. I've watched people die because of that shit. I've watched my own brother basically die from that kind of shit because he didn't have the support he needed. And I was always there for him. I know there was a couple of years there I stepped back because I was like, dude, I can't keep watching you kill yourself. I just can't do it anymore. And yeah, it bothered him a lot. He cleaned up. But the moment he relapsed, it killed him. That's one situation of grief that I have struggled with since the day I stood over my brother's body waiting for the coroners to show up to take him to wherever they were going to go through the cremation process. When my brother passed away and then my friend Heather passed away, she was a sister of mine, I felt like I lost the only two people who genuinely gave a shit, because outside of my buddy Nate, you know, at the time and then over the years, I felt like they were the only people that were actually there for me as not just friends but as family. They actually cared. They treated me like a human being, not a piece of shit. And so that's sort of added to the guilt and the grieving that I've had to deal with over the years, because out of the 4 people that I remember being there when I woke up in the hospital and shit, the 2 that were always there being supportive, they're my brother and sister. They're dead now. While the other 2 people, they fucking hate me with a passion, and I don't even fully know why. Other than the one is a fucking narcissist. That's the only thing that rings true. And learning that they're a narcissist, I learned that they can't love anybody. They can't even love themselves. That's why they turn their love to material things and physical activities. I'll just say it that way. That's why a lot of them become sexual deviants and drug addicts and drunks, and all they want to do is party with their friends while they're fucking around on somebody they got at home. You're with a narcissist, fucking kick him to the curb really fast and don't ever talk to him. Fucking sever the communication. I would not have gotten to this point in healing from that abuse that I went through if I hadn't just said fuck it and I just left it all in God's hands. I just started putting more and more faith into God. I started putting more energy into trying to change things and to not go back and to not allow this stuff to keep repeating, because it only gets worse over time. And as I share a lot of these vids and all, and people are able to see, you know, to a degree the regression to progression, let's say from my very first video that I posted on this channel to now, you can see, especially after that shit, I hit a really bad place, a really bad fucking place, and the only way I could really deal with it is I had to withdraw, become somewhat of a fucking hermit, limit who I talk to or associate with, and basically start working more and more on managing my emotions better and my anxiety. Trying to better myself as a person. Because whether I end up alone the rest of my life or God actually grants me, pretty much the one wish I've had in my life, I want to be at least prepared for it to be a better person for that. I don't want, again, whether alone or with somebody, I don't want to go through the same shit that I've gone through basically since high school. It's like, come on, I'm 42 now. I don't want to keep dealing with the high school shit. I've been long overdue, not necessarily long overdue, well, might as well say long overdue, because the day after my brother Jess passed away, we were supposed to go get a food cart to start a food cart business. I'm trying to start basically a childhood dream and using it as somewhat of a foundation while keeping a level of flexibility to it. Meaning, I'm open to some changes to what it is. It's still a food truck business, but I'm open to some changes to it and functions and whatnot. It's just trying to figure out, my best options. It's part of one of the hardest things is about this is going, do I move and then start my business, or do I start my business and then move? Or do I move somewhere else in Oregon and start my business, or do I start my business and then move somewhere else in Oregon? You know what I mean? It's just, that's the part I'm having trouble with. And honestly, if I could sit with the right, if I sat with the right person that can help me sit and kind of, that I can speak to, that can help me kind of think it out, it would be it would make things helpful to it. I talked about some of it with my doctor here and there. I know at moments I get a little uncomfortable about talking about certain things with my doctor, and there's things that I get uncomfortable even talking to my best friend Nate over. And Nate's the one friend I've known since I was like 5-6 years old. And so I just need a way to somehow make sense of this stuff. And I think that's really one of the hardest things for me to do with it all. And I mean, I'm down to the point of even being open to, I guess you could say collaborating with someone. Because I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to mess this business up. I don't want to find myself falling again too deep into depression and all that stuff that everything starts repeating again. And I just don't want that. I've got a lot of hopes and dreams, not like shit tons, I got maybe in the overall, I guess you could say, scheme of things, I've got a rather large dream that I'm hoping to live, but it doesn't just involve a business. I'm afraid to say it because I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing, and it's not my intentions. It's just, I've been long overdue of settling down, actually being a part of a family, and living the life that I've been wanting practically my entire life, because I've never had a real family before. And when I did have a family, it lasted 2 years, and then I was left in a fucking hospital in some weird fucking coma. And that's what it was to me. I don't know what happened. I can only go by what I was told through all that. I still have questions about that moment. It's just, I'm at the point I don't really want, I don't care if I got the answers or not. I'm moving on at this point. I've forgiven what really by this point doesn't really need to be forgiven. Just my dream in my life is to be a part of a family. And a family that actually wants me there, wants me around, appreciates me. If I make a mistake, they let me know, and they're just not immediately just passing judgment and telling everybody what kind of piece of shit I am. They're willing to be there to help me through difficult moments as much as I'm willing to be there to help them through difficult moments. And it doesn't matter if I'm going through shit or not. I'm one of those people. I will put my bullshit to the side to help somebody else get through theirs. Whether it's a friend or if I was in a relationship, I put my focus on the person I'm with to help them get through it. Family, depending on the family member, because I don't know. I didn't really have a family growing up. When it comes to the genuine definition of a outcast, black sheep type person, that I'm 100% that. And if it wasn't for having my parents still there to raise me, even though they taught me really good morals and stuff like that and values, but they themselves didn't really practice them in a lot of ways. Mainly my mom. My dad dismissed a lot of the abuse, and anytime I've ever tried to talk to him about it, and even my mom before she had her health stuff, it just would go nowhere. So I'm having to learn how to forgive in a different way where they're concerned. But I know I'm being kind of stubborn, and I'm, at the same time, I gotta find a way to get past the bullshit where they're concerned. At government camp now, they got some kind of new lift thing or lift cover or something like that. It's interesting. My grandma's cabin's up here, and I got to see it. Of course, get pictures of it. If I had the money to buy that, I'd buy it in a fucking heartbeat, and I'd live there. I'd definitely live there. Old school A-frame type cabin. But I need to keep myself focused. And this last week, like I was saying, it's really helped a shit ton. I've still got a long ways to go on working on myself, but I'm not carrying that weight and baggage of what my current ex pulled. Yes, I guess I still got a tiny bit of baggage from it. It's more or less the effects that I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to get through, because I don't want the effects of that abuse to become habitual, because I don't want that to be put on somebody else like that. I don't want to do what so many other people tend to do and have done to me. Go into a relationship with a bunch of fucking problems and then expect that person to fix me. I'm willing to be there for someone and help them get through situations and all that stuff, just as I appreciate it too. But I don't want to put all the responsibility on someone to just like totally try to fix me. That's just not right. That's my duty, and in essence, it's, you know, it's, you know, God had a big part in all this. I will say this much. Been going on almost 2 years now. A little over a year. That I had a situation happen while I was on my way home from one of my therapy appointments, and it hit me straight to the core of my soul, and, you know, just kind of metaphorically speaking. And it brought me back to my faith, because I was losing faith, I was losing hope, all of it, from all this shit. I don't know how many nights there I kept wanting to try and kill myself, and if it wasn't for the fact that I'm afraid of dying. I'm terrified of it. After what happened to me at the hospital, from my point of view and perspective, I died. Something happened. It's not literally what happened, but something happened, and it scared the living shit out of me. And so it was something that I was battling nonstop through this shit, and over the last couple years, I lost all hope. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was afraid of dying, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I literally would not be talking to you right now. I don't know how many times I kept being curious on how many sleeping pills it would take for me to just go to sleep and not wake up. There was times there I sat and thought about, you know, what would happen, you know, not necessarily what would happen, because I know what would happen, but I even thought about putting a bullet through my fucking head multiple times, and I don't know how many times I even tried, and I just couldn't do it. And a lot of it had to do with I just didn't want to leave people that in that much pain, no matter how much I've been hurting. I didn't want to hurt everybody else around me. I'd rather deal with, might as well say, the torture and the abuse that I was going through. I'd rather deal with all the fucking hatred that I've been getting, and the shit talking that's been done behind my back. I'd rather deal with that than to stoop to some degree the levels of these other people that brought me to that point of wanting to kill myself. And really trying, but something just would not let me do it. I just boil it to fear. I just don't want to hurt people the way I was hurt. And it doesn't mean like, yeah, somebody else went out and killed themselves and that's how they hurt me. No, I'm just saying I don't want to be hurting the people that I genuinely care about, let alone those who care about me, who actually do give a shit. Whether I've talked to them, let's say this morning or a decade ago, and haven't talked to them since. I don't want them to have to go through the idea of finding out something happened to me through the rumor mill type thing. You know, bad as in suicide shit. Natural, like health issues, that type of stuff. There's only so much you can do about that. There's nothing you can do. I've said it before. I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again, and I genuinely mean it. God saved my life. And one of the hardest things that I had to do was to regain my faith as much as possible And, you know, I still need to build up more. I feel like, because I still have those moments of doubt, like, is this gonna ever get better? Am I gonna be alone forever? You know, is anybody that wants to be with me, is the only reason they want to be with me is because I'm gullible and stupid and I'm an easy doormat? I've been battling my doubts, and I know that because my social abilities have taken a really negative turn from being so heavily isolated. That's what added to my anxiety being there at the Gambler. And even my brother Ed, or buddy Ed, said the same thing. He noticed it. He's like, I'm just trying to get you out, get you socialized again. He's like, because you're not, basically he recognized I'm not the same Taco, or that's what they know me as, the same Taco. I'm not the same Jason that they knew before I ended up with this last person. Like, they recognized that woman genuinely broke me as a human being, and in a lot of ways, as much as I hate what she did to me, I am thankful, because what she did is she broke me. So it broke me without realizing that what she did is she helped me be able to rebuild myself and know what I don't want in my life at all. That woman actually helped me. And she doesn't, she helped me realize what kind of people I don't want to be with, I don't want to be a part of in their lives, or vice versa. All that. She really actually helped me. I'm not sure what else to say, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself. Yeah, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, and part of it's just I'm trying to stay focused on my goals and what hopes and dreams I do have and have kept and maintained my entire life. Like family. Yet at the same time, Lord knows I don't want to go backwards. I really don't want to go backwards at all. And I'm not sure I'm ready or willing to go back to anyone I've ever had like that kind of relationship with before. I'm ready to just watch for somebody new or just be alone. That's just how it is. If I have to be alone, then so be it. You know, might as well say that's just God's will. Anyways, I hope you all have a good day. Be safe. I didn't mean to talk your ear off and keep speaking repetitively. I have a habit of hyper-focusing on shit. And then I can't stop repeating myself on some of it. So, yeah. Anyways, take care. Thank you for watching. And have a good day, alright? All right.